Welcome to LockDown Youth Ministry. We're just youth pastors trying to do youth ministry in a lockdown world. I'm Jasmine. Nice to see you again. Number 4 episode.
It's officially 3 because we had a bonus one in there with Bryce last time, which was epic.
Yeah. Oh, such a good interview. I'm
Gordon, and I'm from Wellington.
And I'm Brad, and I am in Dunedin.
Ooh.
All right, guys. You know how we were hanging out last night?
Yeah.
We were at the Connect Lockdown series with Richard Black, which was pretty amazing.
Very good.
Really enjoyed that. But I took a little bit of video off the official video stream I just wanted to share. It was just as Richard Black came on to speak, and you know, he shared his screen, so he's got his PowerPoint up, and you know, there's like 75 odd youth workers, whatever that number was, in the room, but it just shows 5 people down the side, and so Richard's right there in the middle, and somehow all 3 of us have made it on the front page at this particular time. It kept rotating, but I just saw this happen, and I want you to look happened. Look at Brad. Look at what Brad's doing.
I haven't seen this. This is legit. I'm pretty nervous.
I'm about to share my screen.
Was I in my undies? Was I picking my nose? I was definitely in my undies.
Brad, let's just watch this, because I would say you were pretty excited about what was happening.
Oh, no. Excited.
Well, maybe not excited,
okay.
but something happens. You're clearly doing something different than everybody else. Everybody else is just listening to Richard starting his talk, but not you. Did I share the screen wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, are you getting a?
Oh, Zoom. We can just see your background.
Oh, and it's got loads of stuff there, eh? Oh, yeah. That's not good.
We can edit this.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can now see the video?
Yeah.
You can see looking after yourself and others during lockdown.
Here we go. Everybody look down at Brad, okay? Here we go. Brad.
Up, everyone. Hold on tight, because you're in for a bit of a ride. We'll see how we can get through.
What are you doing?
It was just so good. I was getting the footage doubly videoed.
Now watch this. Look at his face. Look at your face now. Oh, no. It's going to go take more pictures.
What insight can you? That's me.
I'll go to the volume down.
To help people overcome anxiety.
Okay. Now look at Brad. He puts it down. He looks.
Done another recording called Managing Anxiety in Uncertain Times.
He's happy with his pictures.
Yeah, I did a good job.
Good job, Brad.
Stop sharing. What's going on?
I just thought it was a safe space that, I could be comfortable. No, I actually think I was taking like a little, some photos or some video footage to show to some people saying, hey, this is good, haha for not being here sort of thing. That's actually, I think, what I was doing,
Oh, yeah. I would have to tell you about the print screen button that's on your computer as well.
But I did forget that, when I was online, but that's because I was multitasking. I had I was taking notes. I was doing other stuff online, as you do, and I was chatting with people at the same time, and that's what I forgot. And I was just, The other night, actually, I don't know if we're doing this right now, but my wife's laptop, I was on that. They were playing Jackbox games, my wife and her friends, and I was putting the kids down, and I wanted to play too. So I was in their room, just like on mute, playing Jackbox, but watching her computer screen because she was on my computer in my room. So I was on the laptop. Anyway, I was going to come back to the room to join them in person, and I went via the toilet, put the laptop on the what do you call the sink thing?
Yeah,
it's on the sink thing. Do a quick wee, went back to wash my hands. I was like, oh, they've been watching the whole thing. Luckily for me, her camera doesn't work, so they saw nothing, but they heard all the sound and everything. So I did a potential viewing of my toilet stop.
That could have gone viral, Brad. Man.
Oh, very similar to it. it kind of reminds me of, you know, like I remember when I was lived in Scotland as a kid, the minister, you know, had the sort of radio mic on, and he kind of just at the beginning of the service, you know, kind of went to the toilet, and everybody in the church kind of heard the same thing, you know, the flush. It was just like in the church service, it's so wrong.
So easy to do though if you've got like headphones in or something, especially because you don't notice it usually.
Yep.
All right, guys. We normally start off with highs and lows. How's life been going?
For me, life is. Oh, look, you go, Jasmine. You're up.
No, I just literally said go, Brad.
Oh, did you? Okay. So
Yeah.
highs and lows for me. One of the highs on my little CrossFit journey is that my body has recovered. So yesterday I did some sit-ups, and now my tailbone's really sore. So back to my CrossFit high and low. I can't sit properly in my chair. But also highs are things are still going pretty well at home. Life is okay. Moving into a low though, it's starting to get to the point where like I'm running out of space to like be and work. So today my goal is to try and set up an office in my porchway. But it's very echoey, so I'm gonna have to set up some sound absorption as well. So yeah, you know, I'm in my bedroom right now, and that means my wife has no escape from the kids when she's looking after them, and vice versa. And so we're kind of running out of space. So we're starting to feel one weekend a little bit cramped. So that's my low. Yeah, cracks are starting to appear in the structure.
I think for me, you know, my life just seems to be Zoom meetings all day long, like literally just from one to the other. And actually, I don't mind that too much, but it's like I just need to get a little bit of space between them, you know, so I can debrief, kind of write down my to-dos and kind of prepare for the next one. But probably a high yesterday was sitting down with my counterparts in the other denominations over lunch on Zoom. And, you know, I guess as youth leaders, it's so important for us to be, you know, in network, saying, connecting. That's all about longevity, isn't it? It's like if you're doing ministry by yourself, you know, you're just going to burn out. So that was a real high for us just to be sharing on what's going on in our lives and how we're dealing with it. So yeah, real positive. How about you, Jazz?
So I'm going to start with my low on Saturday. Man, Saturday was a bad day. It was just like in the family, like just so much yelling, like all the kids, you could tell they were over it. It was the first day that they didn't have any like structure, and just like everyone was mad. Literally my brother at dinner time was like, I'm just so angry. And so like that was the whole Saturday. So I was like, all right, Sunday, can't do this again for my own mental health. Like I got to do something. So I gathered all the young people. This is going into my high. I gathered all my young people, all my nephews, into my bedroom. I was like, all right, business meeting, let's do something cool. So I'd seen a couple of things online about like setting up like dates inside the house. So we turned to the shed, which is a mess. We hung some sheets. We set up a little table. We and surprised them with like a dinner that night. So it kept the kids busy all day, and parents were like relaxed all day and had a lovely dinner together. The kids cooked everything, so that was great. And I got lots of points for being like best auntie, even though I just did it so that I didn't go crazy.
The cool auntie, eh?
Yeah,
that was one of my takeaways last night from the Connect conference with Richard Black speaking. Was he was kind of talking about routine, and I was kind of aware last week when my teenage kids were in school how easy that was. They were just going from class to class to class, and then, you know, it's kind of like yesterday, it's like, oh, they're just, you know, they're keeping themselves, you know, with activities and stuff. But actually, I thought, you know, hey, let's kind of think about, you know, doing that routine. You know, he kind of talked about having spiritual activities, stuff that are mental, stuff for your, you know, physical body, and stuff for your community. And so this morning kind of gave them a timetable saying, hey, between 9 and 10, 11 and 12, you know, 1 and 2, 4 and 5, you need to be doing one of these 4 activities. And so they're off right now. Oh, it's 10 o'clock, so they'll be 10 o'clock as we're recording. They'll just be stopping their first activity, and they'll be having a morning tea break. So good takeaway.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and that Richard Black talk is we recorded it, and so it's online. So yeah, go to PYM's webpage. And you
that
can,
talk was so good though. Can I just say, like, I think I texted like 3 different people that weren't in it being like, you need to listen to this, because this was like amazing. Just such good like content.
Real practical,
oh man,
practical.
Just so good. I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
talk about real good. Was your weekend church real good?
I'll jump in. Church was okay. We just did our thing. It's interesting. Yeah, like I've been kind of church browsing on Sunday mornings before the live streams. And actually, even though my own church wasn't as flashy as some of the more organized, technologically savvy churches, when you see your own people from your own church do something, even though it was like a pre-recorded thing on YouTube, it's kind of nice to see them, and you do feel a bit more connected. You don't care if it's fancy or not. So it was quite nice to see church folk participating in different elements of our service. So even though it was sort of pre-recorded and it wasn't really interactive, it was still quite nice to see people that I know.
It's
doing
kind of nice
things.
to see people, you know. I kind of on Sunday night, it must be Sunday night. I started watching a church service in Scotland.
Right.
It wasn't one of the churches I worked at, but it was a minister that I knew well, and I knew a few people from that church. So I was like, just watch it on YouTube live as well. And sure enough, you know, it's like, oh, I know him, you know.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. But you know, it's that international world now. Eh, we can be going to any church service in the world. My church in America contacted me this week, and so on Palm Sunday, I guess, is that this Sunday? Yeah, it must be. I'm doing a Bible reading in their YouTube service, so
That's cool.
I'll be recording that today and sending that off. It's just like, oh, you know, it is that thing, you know, like all these people that will remember me from 10 years ago will be like, oh, there's Gordon. And it's just like, these are the things you just can't do, eh?
Yeah. Well, we had our youth group, our first youth group on Sunday evening. So we met on Zoom. And we're not a huge youth group. So we had maybe half our youth there, like 10 youth on Zoom and 4 or 5 leaders. And it was just really cool because 2 of our main youth group boys from a core church family moved to Wellington at the end of last year. And we just jump on Zoom for youth group. And there they are. They've just joined in because they still get our church weekly email, which had the Zoom link. And so they just jumped in. And it was just really cool that, like, you just totally didn't even think about this being a little bonus possibility. So we all kind of love to just be able to connect with them again. And that was really cool. And so hopefully they jump back on next Sunday. And so it was really cool to have that. We just, what we did for youth group was we did the scavenger hunt game we did on here last week. And then one of our leaders played this cool game on Gartic.io, some random ads website. And I can probably share it, but I'll put a link below maybe. It was like a draw game. And so like we all opened that, you jump in. It was like Pictionary, but it was quite cool in that like it just randomly selected from all of our participants, from all of us. It would say, all right, Gordon, it's your turn. And then you would start drawing. And then we all had to like type in the word and it would go green if you got it right. And it's just really cool. And so then it instantly go to Jasmine's turn and we'll do the points. It was kind of like Jackbox, but just easier and smoother online. It was just all the...
Was that plugged in with through Zoom?
No, what we did is we just kept Zoom going and everyone jumped onto another screen or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then.
That's cool.
Well, share that link. That sounds pretty good.
And we did a little talk, little Devo type thing, and that was it was okay. But I think we need to figure out attention spans during, you know, you do all this fun hype. It's just like a normal youth group. You do all this fun hype sort of stuff. You switch to a talk, and you've got like 12-year-old boys that are like, now they're on Zoom, rotating their screens, eating Doritos, like, you know, just like, oh, okay, you know. So
mute all.
Fun stuff. When conversation was okay, and then the prayer stuff at the end was really good too. We had a great prayer session. So overall pretty good win. Yeah.
Probably do need to shorten stuff, eh? That was like Bryce the other day in the bonus interview. He goes from preaching a 35-minute sermon to a 20-minute sermon. I don't think any of us are preaching for 20 minutes at the moment, but it's still probably shorter than what we're used to, eh?
Yeah.
But I love the story about, you know, the 2 that kind of joined your youth group again.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it just blows you like, oh, I can invite anyone to youth group if I want, you know?
Yeah.
Really
good opportunities.
An old leader, a former young person who's now a young adult, jump in.
Oh, true. We on Sunday, our youth church service, we had Jo, who's now in Melbourne. She moved there like 3 months ago, and now she's youth leader again. I mean, like, it's cool.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
These are opportunities we need to be thinking about. You know, it's like, you know, there's real opportunities there. There's lots of weaknesses and there's lots of threats, but there's some strengths here and some real good opportunities. Yeah.
Oh, you've done a SWOT analysis.
Has somebody thought of that sort of thing before?
You're so strategic.
Well, let's do it for our youth ministries. I think a SWOT would be probably a good conversation to have. Yeah, for sure. For us, youth ministry, we're definitely just trying to figure it out. It kind of feels like, people love to connect, love to see each other. We're certainly doing some good intergenerational stuff. In fact, tomorrow night, we've got a bunch of families that live in Karori here, and we're going to be doing a sort of big pub quiz, whole families against each other. And so I'm emceeing that. Looking forward to that. That should be pretty good. But it's just those things. It feels like in this, if it's a 4-week period, community, keeping that sort of the connections is important.
Yep.
How about you, Jazz?
Yeah. So our church changed up the plan from what it was going to be doing. So instead of doing a Zoom and then recording that and then putting that online for everyone, a few of the elders and people just got together, and they each they didn't get together. They just each recorded a small little video to add together to the big bit. So it was really cool actually, and it was the same as what you guys were saying of like, it was really nice to be able to see what people were doing. Sorry, my nephew is just coming in for a scoot. It's distracting me. Oh, Zoom.
LockDown.
You're in the garage.
Yeah. This is the story of my life. So it was really good to be able to see people's faces. They recorded so we light the Christ candle at the beginning, so someone still did that, and it was beautiful to kind of have that for all of our oldies to be able to see and feel a part of the service. But for youth group, we've only just started doing stuff. So I actually created a Facebook group for my youth group. It feels very anti anything we keep saying, because who uses Facebook from the youth? But apparently it's the only thing that all of them have. So we created a Facebook group. We went live yesterday. That was real weird, doing a Facebook live. I don't know if you guys have done it before, but it's so strange just staring at yourself on camera, and you're kind of talking like you're talking to people, but there's no one there. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but they were loving it. They were getting so into it. So that was, great. But I guess it's kind of raised the question for me of what should I be doing? What's the point of kind of lockdown stuff? I'm feeling a little bit conflicted of should I just be playing games? Should I be doing just devotional? What are actually the needs at the moment? But I kind of don't really know where to sit in all of this. Because, I guess you could do either way.
I guess I was thinking a little bit about that, and it kind of feels to me like what we're trying to achieve online shouldn't be any different than what we're trying to achieve in our youth ministry period, right? We might be living it out in a different way, but it should be the same. Let me share a screen. And I'm not saying this is a correct thing, but let me just share up on the screen. Oh, is that sharing my Word document?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. This is something I kind of wrote down earlier on today of things that I thought we might be trying to achieve in youth ministry generally. This won't be true for any individual youth group probably, but maybe these are the sort of things we are trying to achieve in youth ministry, whether it's online or offline. I was thinking, hey, we probably want to introduce faith to young people, and that may look like helping parents introduce faith to their children, that are part of our faith communities. But it's also, reaching young people in our communities. For a lot of youth groups in Aotearoa, that's probably a big part of their ministry. It's hey, let's gather people from our community. Another thing would be helping young people grow in their personal faith. That we might be helping them think about worship, prayer, Bible reading. We might be including things like baptism and confirmation. These sort of things are the sort of rites of passage, the things that help us grow in faith. Would be maybe another goal. I've written here a third goal: nurturing a faith community, and that might just be thinking about the relational side of maybe your youth group. You know, you're kind of helping people bond, and you know, actually having a sort of a peer group there. But it might be bigger than that, and that's why I've written faith community. It might be actually thinking about the wider church community and kind of thinking about nurturing the relationships between all of us in our church community. And you know, that, you know, the example I just gave there of the sort of pub quiz thing I'll be doing with different families tomorrow night, is kind of like nurturing the relationships there, so that we're there to support each other in our faith, and are a positive sort of a group of people helping each other in their faith. And lastly, I said helping young people be part of God's mission, and that might be thinking like helping them actually physically live out their faith. You know, it's not just what they believe in their heads, but actually their actions. And just by doing, you kind of grow in faith. So that could be part of being part of service projects. You know, doing witnessing things. Evangelism, whatever that might be, living out. You know. Advocating for social justice, you know, it can be done in different kind of ways. But I kind of wondered, to me, that they may be the sort of things we're trying.
Oh,
Was that? I mean, like, I think lots of youth groups wouldn't do all four of those. It may be you're a community youth group, you play games, and then you have a little God talk, and you're saying, hey, maybe that first point and that third point would be big for your group. But these are the sort of things. Is that pretty? I mean, it's not amazing language, but would you kind of agree generally with those points?
Yeah, generally, yeah, I would say so. It kind of covers what we would be trying to do. Yep.
Yeah, so like I imagine, you know, and your youth group, you may say, hey, our goals are this and this, but it may fall in this bracket somewhere, and that's what you do currently on a regular basis. And I'm very aware that, you know, whenever I do a big outreach activity, I then try to follow up and those new young people, try to kind of bring them into the community. And one of the things I've learned is whenever you're doing follow-up events from activities, is you always lose young people if you change the activity. You always lose young people if you change the leader, and you always lose young people if you change the venue. You know, if you've been doing some sort of football activity, and then you say right afterwards, hey, come along to the church next week, we're doing a Bible study. Well, those young people came along to your football group, because they wanted to play football, and they've been doing it in the field. And now you're saying, oh, you know, leave the football pitch, come and do Bible. And they're like, oh, I don't think so. And you lose them. And so I'm very aware right now, we're saying to all our young people, hey guys, we're going to change venue. We're going to not be meeting in the church hall or wherever you meet. We're going to be meeting online. And so straight away, there's tension there. And I think in this situation, it's super important that you've still got the same leaders and the same kind of activities. So if you've been like a youth group that you've been meeting up, and what you do is you meet on Bob and Sam meet up on a Sunday morning and do a Bible study with their young people, and that's what they do. That's what their youth group is. Well, really, now that they're online, they should keep doing stuff that's biblically, a biblical activity. You know, they've been engaged with these young people, so maybe it would be looking at like things like sending the verse of the day, asking them what they think about it, sharing a video that's related to a Bible passage. But if your youth group has been generally social, and it's been games, and then it's been a little God talk, well, you probably aren't going to be pushing them towards, worship songs or Hillsong United. Even though you're seeing other churches doing amazing stuff, you might be like, actually, none of these kids are going to engage with that. And so it might be kind of a case of like saying, hey, what's important to us already as a church community in our youth ministry? What is it we're trying to do? What are we trying to achieve? And now accepting that, how do we live that out in our new context? Let's not change what we're trying to achieve. Let's do the same thing, but just in an online presence.
Yeah, that's helpful, because you look at what other youth groups are doing, and everyone's on a different playing field in terms of resources and people and time, etc. And so you see what someone else is doing, and you just want to replicate that because it sounds awesome. Even though I haven't been doing that in my ministry forever, but it just sounds so cool, the way that they use that online thing to do this and do that, and they've got a studio to live stream this. But really, just keep doing what I'm doing for my group, just in a different context. Like, if possible, it's quite helpful to not do what the others are doing, and just, naming our own goals and then figuring that out. It's kind of helpful.
Yeah, and I think it's really helpful for me to think about what do you normally do, like not that pressure of like our normal Friday night youth group has a lot of non-Christian kids, so I shouldn't be focusing on just like trying to do Bible study with them like we do with our Bible study kids. Like actually just playing games is okay and having that normal kind of God spot, but condensed down, like Bryce said, like it's not 2 hours, it's 30 minutes. So what does it mean for everything to be condensed down?
I read an interesting article that's kind of helpful for this. If I can show it, I'll just jump on here. I thought this was quite interesting because this is sort of we're all scrambling to learn Zoom or learn whatever. Oh yeah, do you see my screen? This is from Fuller Youth Institute, Navigating New Territory, Moving Ministry Online. So interesting article to read, but just point number one, naming your goal before choosing your medium. So Facebook.
Brad, your microphone's
Brad.
That happens every so often. Oh, Brad, is that your t-shirt? Oh, no, we can't hear it. All right, well, Brad, you get your microphone sorted, and you're back.
But so yeah, like naming your goal before choosing your platform. So like, you can't really do a Bible study on Facebook Live, but Facebook Live is great for just catching up and getting young people just to engage in a certain way, So I kind of think like it's really important that we like choose how we interact depending on our goals, and so that's just another element to throw in there. But a helpful little article from Fuller Youth, so I'll link that as well.
All right, that's awesome because those guys at Fuller, really switched on, and so that's good to share. I'm kind of aware also that if this was only going to happen, say, for 2 weeks, and if we knew for sure it was only going to be for 4 weeks, we probably would just say, let's just concentrate on keeping relationships. Let's just concentrate on pastoral care, and it's just that fear that this is going to be going on for 12 weeks or something that we kind of need to actually be fully living out the experience of ministry. I think.
The reality is, though, even if we get out of lockdown, our youth groups are probably not going to be allowed to meet for a long time more because they're going to go not from level 4 to level 1, but level 4 to level 3, and then maybe back up. So, like, who knows? It actually probably is realistic going to be like 12 weeks.
So I love the idea of like making sure you know what your goals are, and then saying, hey, acknowledging that what is the best medium for that sort of stuff. I think we've also got the opportunity to make sure that actually we're living out what our goals are as well, because sometimes we don't quite do that. And one of the things that I'm really quite passionate about is not thinking about our youth ministry as a crowd of young people, but actually us having individual relationships and actually having doing discipleship well. Like when you think about why you're a Christian, it's because of somebody else, right? It's because of people in your life that you respected or individually connected with. And so I think it's just a good reminder that as we're setting this up, that we're not just treating, our youth group as a group of people, a big crowd. And that could be a danger of a Facebook Live if we're exclusively engaging where we're just putting out content for people to consume. We're not actually having relationships with young people. And so I've always kind of had personally this sort of viewpoint that in a context where we can meet with people offline, that I can only actually minister and probably disciple 5 or 6 young people at the most, to where I actually am involved in their life and know what's happening. And so I've always set up youth ministries when I've been in charge of youth ministries, where we've kind of set kind of small groups of leaders with young people. So you might have a couple of leaders that are working with 6 or 7 or 8 young people, and they're actually getting to know those young people in a safe way, but actually investing in their life and able to share quite deeply. So I think as we're going online, let's not treat our young people as a crowd, but let's treat them as individuals and make sure that we're setting up our leaders to be engaging in safe online relationships where we're still going deep with our young people. Because if we're thinking about young people growing their faith and to be living out their faith, we need to be connecting relationally and at a deep level.
Yeah. That's good. Gordon, there you go.
Oh.
Speaking of young people,
We've got a special guest on today's episode.
Oh, yep.
This is my nephew Eli.
hi Eli, how's it going, mate?
Eli, grab yourself an ice cream.
Oh, you're allowed an ice cream. So I'm just aware that time is getting on and we probably have to wrap up. So I
Yeah,
thought I
let's wrap
might
up.
do a game just to finish.
Okay.
Yeah, so this game is a game I played with my youth group, and it's called Guess What My Nephew is Describing to You. Sometimes he's really good at it, so sometimes he's not very good at it. So last night the thing was skateboarding, he said the thing you skate with. So it's a bit hit and miss, but come here, Eli.
All
Come
right.
stand up here.
Eli, you're here for the game.
So he's going to describe it, and you guys are going to tell us, try and guess. So whoever gets it right will win. So Eli, you get to just hold that near you. Don't touch it too much. So I'm going to whisper to him what the thing is, and then don't touch it, Eli. Just hold it. This is like the thing working with kids. I'll hold it. So yeah, I'm going to whisper it to him, and then he'll just describe what it is. Okay, Eli, ready
Brad,
for the
is
first
this where they say never work with pets or kids? Well, we could be listening. It'd be like,
All right, hold on. He's gonna go. Okay, go, Eli.
So, what do you wear when you're going scootering?
when you
Helmet.
go where, sorry?
A helmet.
A helmet is correct. You got a point.
Yeah, that was
Okay, all right. This is a slightly harder one.
1-0.
Okay, ready? Oh,
That's a movie.
say use your words.
Okay, so what do you say again?
Do your action again. See if they can guess it.
There's a
Movie.
film. Oh, a stirrer. A mixer.
Oh, close.
A beater.
Use words, Eli.
So, I'm
Spoon. A fork.
Noodle.
They did not use it.
What do you put the spoon into when you're?
A bowl.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Okay, we're gonna do one more.
1-1.
Okay.
Whoever gets the last one wins.
Come on, Gordon.
Oh.
Team Gordon.
Okay. This is gonna be.
What do you put stuff into?
A bowl. A
Box.
box.
A lunchbox.
Give
A
more
container.
description.
Tupperware.
Well, how?
What?
Pardon? Say that again.
Keep going.
It's not a fridge, but it's something else.
A freezer.
Not a fridge.
Freezer.
Oh, you got it, Brad.
Ah,
You win the game!
All right, thanks, Eli.
So Jasmine, are you gonna like share your nephew around all the youth groups that want to play that game?
rent them out.
Yeah. I think enough of us has kids, right, that we can all get.
Totally.
You know, I don't know if we have time to add this section into the vlog, because me losing a game, it's not an image I like.
Gordon, you're not doing well at these games, eh? You're like
winning's
lockdown is not good for you.
Like winning is my thing. I'm like so used to winning everything, and here I am just absolutely failing. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I might
not-
have to rig it
I'm
for
not-
you next episode.
I'm not competitive, but I just always win, so it's just great. Like, you know, it's fantastic.
all
Like
right,
I don't
guys.
even care, but I'm winning.
All right, guys. Well, let's give that a wrap. It was good hanging out with you again, and we'll see you in a couple of days' time.
Awesome. See you later.
That's good. See you, team.
Cheers.